With extreme urgency, then we have a chance of making life multiplanetary. Still just a chance, not for sure. If we don't act with extreme urgency, that chance is probably zero. And the rate of innovation is not going to be constant. It's either going to increase the rate of innovation, or it's going to slow down. If you look at American access to space with Crew, we were able to go to the moon in '69. Then with the space shuttle, we could only go to low Earth orbit. And the space shuttle retired. And then for almost a decade, there was no America had no access to space with people. So this is a pretty bad trend. It's trending to zero.
Right.
We need a very strong trend in the other direction in order to have any chance whatsoever of making life multiplanetary.
Yep.
So that's the reason for the extreme sense of urgency.
build the technologies necessary to make life multiplanetary. To answer more seriously, if you consider the nature of importance itself and say, how do you tell that anything is important? Well, the lens of history is a helpful guide here. And the more you zoom out, the more you can distinguish the things that are important over a great span of time, the truly important things, versus the things that may seem important in the moment but are forgotten once that moment has passed.
What's going on, guys? What's going on, guys? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good evening. Top of the evening to you. It is Saturday night. Feeling all right. What is going on the scene tonight? This is your man, Real Deal, Steven Steele, coming to you live. Don't doubt your Doge. Don't do it. Don't do it, man. But one thing you can do is smash that like button. I want you to smash that like button like you never have before, guys. Takes a split second of your time, doesn't cost you a dime. Number one thing you can do to help a channel like this reach more people, get up into those tricky YouTube algorithms. Also, if you're brand new here, I'd like to personally welcome you. You're watching Steven Steele Live. I am Steven Steele. Welcome aboard. Feel free to subscribe and grow and join and grow this awesome community that we have here. Also, if you feel compelled to super chat anytime throughout the broadcast, that's obviously hugely appreciated for all the time and efforts put forth. And myself and my esteemed co-host and guest will do our best to field those questions and comments to the best of our abilities. If you're interested in memberships, they start just at $4 a month. And that unlocks a lot of membership content and features. If you're interested in checking that out, simply click the link pinned at the top of the chat. So yeah, what is going on, guys? What is going on? Good to see each and every one of you. I got Zombie Doge Armor. We got Bang Stun, Stormer, Steve Ravas, Alan Schneider, 7-1, Abstractus Artemis, Zombie Doge Army, Ramon. It's Ramon. Slayblaze, Larry Ramirez, Hector the Dude, Josh Randell, Disavows, and John Woods, and so many more. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Welcome, ladies and gents. At this time, I would like to introduce to you a guy that's taking a few days off, enjoying life. It is none other than Dogecoin millionaire Nick Ballz. Nick, how you been, man? Describe supercars. Okay. Yeah. All right. Are you kind of test driving the phase right now, or what's going on? Is this research? Mm-hmm. All right, just a second. I think I know the problem here. All right, go ahead, Nick.
Can you hear me now, people?
Yeah, they'll be able to hear you now. I knew exactly what was wrong.
Okay, cool.
They'll catch up to you in 30 seconds. Don't worry.
Cool. So yeah, I've been going around driving a bunch of supercars and getting crazy and going to comic shows. But yeah, the supercar thing is nuts, man. I didn't realize how scary they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first time, like I got behind the wheel of McLaren a couple days ago, and I was literally like shaking. And
yeah.
it was 90 degrees outside. I was sweating my ass off. I didn't know how to work the air conditioning. It has, the one that I was driving has double roof scoops on it.
Okay.
On the back. So there is no rear window. You can't see out the back. And this thing sounds like a freaking rocket ship. I mean, it is loud. I cannot describe what these cars are like. They are the most intense thing you've ever been in. And the dealership that I was at is right down the street from me. And they had a couple Lamborghini Aventador SVJs there, which each one's about $600,000. And we were messing around with those. Dude, they're just freaking crazy, bro. They're so crazy. These cars are nuts, people. When you become a crypto millionaire, I'm telling you, drive one of these cars. They're so crazy. It is like being in a spaceship.
That's the closest analogy. So they don't even feel like cars when you're driving them, huh?
No, it feels like you're in a spaceship. And like the one that I was in, the one that I'm looking at right now that we're trying to get the deal done on, it was converted over and it has a tank in the front. So there's no trunk in the back, but there's the guy who had it previously, he converted it over with a switch so that it can run on race fuel, ethanol, if you want.
It could.
So
wow.
Yeah, and you can smell it too. I mean, it smells like it smells like a race car. I don't know how to describe it. Like, it smells like a race car. But you flip a switch, and then all of a sudden, it's like it is. I took a video of it. I posted it on Twitter, but
sure,
it is so much louder in person than what is captured on it. It explodes. I mean, you'll be driving, and if you downshift, it explodes. Like a freaking explosion comes out. It sounds like a gunshot. It's just as loud. It is crazy. I mean, it is very, very clear that you are riding. I mean, I love Elon Musk. I think the electric is, I mean, clearly, I mean, it would get beat by a Tesla. Don't get me wrong. But there is nothing like being behind the wheel of exploding rocket ship. It's just freaking crazy.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Someone's that giant green weenie is ridiculous. What do you guys make of that? Check it out, Nick. Let's check it out. What do we make of that giant green weenie that's gone up over the last 15 minutes there?
I was actually looking at Safe Moon before we got on.
What a day for. We could talk about that in a bit too.
They had a roller coaster going on.
Oh today, my, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we can get. Do you want to get straight into market outlook or?
Yeah, we can ping pong around, but sure, we'll get into a bit of market now.
Cool. So yeah, there has been a 4-year trend that has taken place over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Of a really, really, really bad September. Always. And I mean, I shouldn't say really bad. The percentages vary or whatever, but like, it's just the beginning. At least the first first 2 weeks in September is usually not good. So I did a little trading actually on Friday. I can't remember. I entered a trade on Friday. I got out today. I think I was up. What was it? Like, I don't know, 10% or something like that. It wasn't anything wild. Just a little something to test the market. But I wanted to exit out because I think that next week things are going to come tumbling down. Maybe not drastically, but we could see a 10 or 20% fall, across the board next week. And I wanted to be ready for that. I want to snatch that up. Now, it would be great if we could reverse that trend. I mean, I'll put it to you like this. If we reverse the trend next week, in the next 2 weeks, we either hold steady or move up, even just moderately, that would like solidify all of my beliefs in what, a Bull Run 2 electric boogaloo that I've been talking. I think everybody's been talking about for months now. So that would be a good sign. If we see at least a stable to moderate gain week in the next 2 weeks, I think that's a huge sign.
Yeah, I think I agree. I agree with your assessment there. Now, Nick, about 2 weeks ago, I predicted that Doge was going to come back around upwards of between 36 to 37 cents neighborhood. And I said it was going to happen within 2 weeks, and that was about a week ago that I made that prediction. So I got about 6 more days here to see Doge, from what I was seeing, what I was looking at and analyzing, for Doge to reach upwards of 37 cents within the next 6 days. What do you give on a probability of something like that?
Well, you might have been right on the week on a week chart. I mean, we hit 35,
right,
which is pretty darn close,
right.
But if you look, I mean, even if you're looking at the 15, or you go up to the hour, we're clearly moving off of that right now. It would take a full market move up to break the downwards, channel that we're in right now. I mean, is it possible? Like I said, I would love to see that red, remember red September be, reversed like this time. Hopefully that doesn't happen this year. If that is the case, then I could see that being correct because, hold on, let me back out here. We essentially, when we hit 35 cents, we were touching a fib level,
right?
And that would be that's all I was gonna do. What was that? The 5. So we touched the 0.5. Technically it was 34.63, but call it 35. So we touched the 5. The move up from there. If you're really looking for an actual leg up, would be the 618, the next level above the 5, which is at about 41 cents. So yeah, if what you're saying is correct, we should be anywhere from passing that 5 up to the 618. Is it possible? Like I said, I would love to see that trend get broken this year.
Right.
But it's going to take it really. Bitcoin, get your act together. I like the way Bitcoin's at 48.7 right now. It's not. There's been basically no movement all day. Nothing has changed. So yeah, I guess we'll have to see what happens. I'm sure we've had Red Mondays forever now. So I guess we'll see. We'll see what Monday has to offer.
Yeah. I'm gonna still hold, and obviously I could be wrong, but I'm gonna still hold to my bullish outlook there. I'm not saying that Red September is not going to happen. I went over this last night when I was by myself on the show, and I'm not saying that Red September isn't going to happen. I do think it's going to happen, but I do think there's a greater probability this year than previous years of it not being as severe as what we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years, right? There's a lot of different dynamics at play, I think, going into the fall this year that the crypto market hasn't seen previously. The foremost, what stands out to me in that regard for new dynamics is just the sheer amount of investors compared to what was involved in the crypto market just a year ago. We've seen just an explosion of popularity among crypto investors and noobs coming into the space here. And I really don't think we should underestimate that. What do you think?
I would agree, and I think that Bitcoin and just crypto in general is in this. I love these situations, by the way. Absolutely love these situations. I try to put myself in these situations in life whenever possible. I've done it. I did it a lot in my previous job, like in my previous work life or whatever, when I was working. You basically make yourself make the company money, but at the same time get more out of your job than they're, basically make make more and put them in a position where it's like, damn it, you can basically write your own check. I love those situations. I love being able to make my own rules. I've been in so many situations at companies where I've been killing it and they've been forced to pay me more money. And it's like, it flips the power dynamic so much where it's like, what do we do with this guy? I guess we pay him more. I don't know.
Right.
But I love that. And I feel like that is the situation crypto is in right now, where the big banks are like, crap, we've got now, they're holding the bag. It's like, well, we can't really dump all this, because then all of these people who already know that they're going to be able to get something on the cheap will essentially just get one over on us. But we can't pump it either, because in that case, our profit margins go down. It's like crypto is stuck in this weird tipsy-topsy area. And I love those situations because they often work out in favor of the little guy. And I think that's precisely where we're in right now, where there's just kind of we're just kind of stuck in this weird zone. And it's not bad. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. It can get a bit tedious and boring for some people, but it's not a bad thing in terms of the forecast of where I see things long term, and in terms of almost all the coins that we talk about here regularly. Mr. X coming in, starting things off with the first super chat of the evening. Thank you, Mr. X. Good to see you again. Best show in crypto. I love it. I'll take that. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I'm glad you think so. I'm glad to have you here. So thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. So, right now we've been kind of just trading sideways almost, the last, 4 or 5 days now? Almost. No. We had a retracement about 4 days ago, and then we bounced back pretty nicely here.
We've been moving sideways for like 3 days.
3 days, yeah. So it's been about 3 days. But yeah, so why don't we just expand on that a little bit, because we had quite the size of a retracement, and then Dogecoin came rallying back harder about 3 days ago, more so than Ethereum and Bitcoin, to the tune of going up about 10% within a 24-hour period. And this is something that we talk about often, right? People start freaking out when they say, oh my God, how come Bitcoin, ADA, and Ethereum are pumping, but Doge really isn't doing a whole lot? And then we always have to say, well, most of the time, it just kind of ebbs and flows. They kind of trade off. Just wait a few days, and more than likely, Doge is going to have a super bullish day, wherein those aforementioned coins will not. And it just seems to happen like clockwork, time and time again, and it's become fairly predictable. What do you say, Nick?
Yeah. Can I take a moment to talk about ADA? I know it's not the most popular subject.
No, not at all. Go ahead.
But okay, so as many people know, I put 20K into ADA at $1.
Wow.
And I have now, when Charles came out and was a big dum-dum and said a bunch of dumb things about Doge, it really kind of, that was after I had already put 20K into ADA. And I was like, well, I've got this bag. I'm not gonna drop it because I want to, reap the tax benefits or whatever. But I have actually reassessed my strategy on ADA, and I am looking now to turn to basically. I want to up my 20,000 ADA to 100,000 ADA. And I do, after thinking long and hard about it and looking at what ADA is doing and their ecosystem and how it's built and how it's put together, I do believe that ADA will be the next Ethereum. There's a ton of stuff going on with ADA, and sometimes you have to separate, okay, as much as I don't like Charles Hoskinson, and by the way, I just found this out too. Sir Doge of the Coin put me on this one. I had no idea about this. Charles Hoskinson, people in the audience, if you're watching right now, Google Charles Hoskinson. We are the same freaking age. And Charles Hoskinson looks like he's 55 years old.
Wait, you're the same age as Charles?
I'm the exact same age as Charles.
Oh.
Put a picture of me and Charles next to each other and tell me that we're the same species, because we're not. That man is a crypt keeper.
Wow.
He's like inches away from death. I don't know what this guy's doing to his body, but it is not good. He looks...
I assume that Charles was closer to my more ripened age. I didn't know that. I wouldn't have guessed that.
I thought he was in his early 50s for sure.
Oh wow, yeah, that'd be beyond where I'm at. But yeah, I mean, I could see how you would think that. It's definitely a surprise to me. I think it's kind of a combination of. I bet the guy's, even though he's super busy, I think he's pretty sedentary, and his diet's probably a lot of Cool Ranch Doritos and processed foods and stuff like that. And,
well, he is on the ranch a lot, so that makes sense. But you have to separate. As I was saying, you have to separate some of these personal beliefs against. What the tech is, right? I have. Well, I don't know. It's like,
I hear. So, I might have a slight disagreement with you on ADA from the research I've done. Now, I will preface what I'm about to say with this. I do think ADA has a very high probability with continuing to be an excellent long-term investment. Excellent long-term investment. Whenever someone tells,
that's my plan. I'm going 100K long.
Yeah,
This is going to be.
I
This is
don't.
going to be my next long move.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. I don't blame you there. However, I don't think it's gonna overtake Ethereum. I really don't, because
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's going to overtake Ethereum. I just think it's going to be the next Ethereum. I think that Ethereum will continue to grow and will continue I think Ethereum will flip Bitcoin at some point. That's pretty much a guarantee at where we're going and where it's moving right now. I just think that if that is the case, something is going to step in with a smart contract platform and all these dApps and all these other like pieces of tech, and it is slowly looking more and more like that is going to be ADA. And I think the beginning of September is going to prove this, because that hard fork is basically going to initiate all of these dominoes to fall. And for a long, long time, ADA wasn't anything other than just a coin. It didn't do anything.
right.
And for years and years and years, that's the reason why people gave Charles shit for so long, is because his project was all talk and no bite.
Right.
But we'll see. We'll see if it's gonna work like Ethereum. It's gonna be cheaper to operate than Ethereum. I believe that it could, this is something that could well into the future be in the thousands of dollars. I'm not talking like, I'd love to see it eventually, 10 years down the road at current ETH levels, $2-3 grand. But if I'm holding 100,000, even at 1,000, like I'm buying all the Lamborghinis. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah. So I think ADA is just a really good, really safe, long-term play. And this is just my personal outlook on ADA. And keep in mind, guys, I've got enough. I can make moves like this, whereas most people aren't making $100,000 or $200,000 or $250,000.
Sure, they don't have the capital. They don't have that kind of capital to play with. For me, I personally I don't really care for Charles. I
don't either.
I can listen to him. I can listen to him for a total of maybe 15 minutes. He just strikes me as incredibly smug and egocentric, and it just grates on me. But
yeah, I agree. I don't disagree.
Aside from that, since we're talking about XRP here, I really do think that, people really shouldn't sleep on XRP. XRP, as far as its utility goes, up against ADA, it goes absolutely toe-to-toe with ADA, and I believe it's even a bit quicker. And they've been able to, so there's both ADA and XRP have their own liabilities, right? And ADA's predominant liability is Charles. Charles is if there's anyone that's going to get in the way of ADA's success, it's going to be Charles, right? To me, he's the main liability with that project. In terms of XRP, their predominant liability is the continuing legal harassment that they're getting from the SEC, who still isn't backing off. Now, they've proven to be able to deal with this fairly effectively, right? However, it still hasn't gone away. But one thing to watch out for XRP is they've been able to make some incredible inroads with various banking institutions and even some governmental institutions throughout Europe. They're the only cryptocurrency to make those kind of significant strides with various banking and government institutions throughout Europe and France and Switzerland and some others. So I think XRP is another one that's going to continuously be a good long-termer. Now, which one's going to be more vibrant over a long period of time, XRP or ADA? I have no idea. But what I do know is this: 2021, in the grand scheme of things, is, like we often say here, Nick, is going, the history books are going to still perceive the era and the year that we're in right now, still at the fairly the beginning stages of all of this stuff. So with that in mind, I really don't think you can go wrong with an XRP or an ADA, or Ethereum, obviously. I think there's room enough for all three of these currencies, respectively, and I think they're all going to thrive. It's just a matter of to what degree. What do you say?
I would, I somewhat agree. I think, if we look at, that the article that was written about from the CEO of it was actually a podcast. The podcast that was done by Three Arrows Capital. The primary reason why Three Arrows Capital, by the way, multi-billion-dollar fund that has put a tremendous amount of capital into Doge. They hold so much Doge, it's crazy. The reason why they hold so much Dogecoin is because, and rightfully so, they believe that Dogecoin is ultimately never going to deal with regulatory concerns because everybody just sees it as a joke.
Right.
Why would you even bother regulating something like that? Also, it's a coin that works off of proof of work and not proof of stake, and there's a whole argument to be made about that. But
absolutely.
And this is, you could make that similar argument against ADA and XRP both. But my only gripe with XRP is that it's a gamble, right? You are gambling on their legal case. It's not easy to buy in the United States either. It's very difficult to purchase ADA within the U.S.
Right.
You can be done, but it's not simple. With that being said, I do believe XRP will come out victorious in its legal battle. However, that will always be, even if it overcomes that will always be like we had to overcome this to get through to this point kind of thing. And again, I believe that XRP will come out of its legal battle victorious. However, there is always a possibility that might not be the case, and that you have to weigh these things when you're getting into a crypto. Now it's easy to say and argue that you're when you're playing with crypto at all, any crypto, doesn't matter, you're gambling on the fact that this whole thing could get shut down tomorrow. We don't know. So yeah, I think you just got to take you got to take all these things into consideration, and just and kind of weigh the future. I was talking this with the fellow over at Benzinga actually.
Luminal says XRP offers big government and banks a way to stick their tentacles into crypto. It does some not so good things for the little guy. Yeah, I'm not disputing the possibility of that, Luminal. That is something I am aware of. I'm just I'm speaking about XRP solely from an investor standpoint, as far as the pragmatism. The pragmatism in relation to that. Benny Henny coming in with a $10 super chat. Thank you for that, Benny. Hey, Steve and Nick, been a while since I've been in here. You guys want a coin that doesn't move with BTC and has the best chart in crypto? Wow, that's a pretty bold claim. Look up Hex.
I
Do
know
your
a
research.
lot about Hex. No,
Yeah.
I've done my research on Hex. Benny Henny. I'm very familiar with Hex. I listen to Richard all the time. Here's the thing about Hex. It does have a great chart. Don't get me wrong. My issue with Hex, what is it at now? 21. Okay. I as people know, I watch a lot of Crypto Face, whose friend, Mr. Hart. And they talk about, he tries to get him on Hex all the time. I think he got into Hex. I'm personally not getting into Hex, and here's why. Mr. Hart owns, I think it might be a little more than 50% of the supply. Which, I mean, people say that there's distribution issues with Doge. We know that isn't really the case because of major exchanges and
Exchange
whatnot.
wallets, yeah.
Yeah. But when you know for a fact that the creator of the token, which Hex is a token, owns half of it, or at least maybe more, you know, you are really, really trusting that guy is not going to dump. Really trusting. You know, he shows no intention or no sign. I don't think he ever would. I don't think he's a, you know, diabolical dude.
Right.
You know, he was just a little background info. Mr. Hart was one of the original Bitcoin adopters, so that's why he has all his money. I think he has $1 million watch collection, which good for him.
Yeah, he's a flashy guy.
Yeah, I really like. By the way, I really like his style. He has a really cool style.
It's really flashy. He's always like Louis Vuitton and like velvet and stuff.
Yeah, chandeliers and candles always.
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
I want my house to look like Richard Hart's house when I buy my house. So he's really cool, dude. I don't have anything wrong. I don't have anything against him personally, other than the fact I can say this guy's from personal experience. Like, listen to me when I tell you that when you're early to something, right? Like Bitcoin, or for me, Dogecoin. When you're one of the first guys and you put everything into it and you make millions and millions and millions of dollars. It gives you a false sense of superiority. That's the easiest word I could use. It makes you think you're smarter than you are. And he has a bit of that going on. And I don't think this guy is dumb enough to dump his Hex and ruin his own project. I don't think he's going to do that. But it's just, you know, something you need to be aware of when you're getting into a project like that. That is a possibility to happen. I personally don't get into projects like that because I have the ability to have risk management to a significant degree. Now, if you're, I will say this: if you're a token person and you really like, you know, the token world, Hex is probably one of the better ones. However, it is currently like just off of all-time highs right now. It hit all-time highs like yesterday at 23, almost 24 cents. So like, I wouldn't be getting into it if I was going to, which I wouldn't. But if I was going to get into Hex, I wouldn't do it like right now. I would at least give it some time because, you know, it's just in a straight upwards path right now. It's really hard to say. I mean, it's been around for over a year. It's been around since November of 2020. But yeah, just these are all things you just got to take into account. I'm not endorsing it. I'm not smashing it. It is an actual, it's a token with utility. But you know, just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, right on. And I think it's, as I recall, its predominant strength that it markets itself as too is just the how high it stakes on average. I think it was upwards of 35 or 40% interest in a year. So yeah, so yeah, I can understand the appeal of it. I personally am not invested in it, but like I get the appeal. And as far as its long-term outcome, I don't know. I don't know enough. I don't know enough about Hex to be able to even make a long-term kind of assessment about it. Fart Particle coming with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Mr. Particle. Baros with some cheers. Appreciate that. So let's see here. There were a couple other stories I wanted to get to tonight. And one of them is, check this out. I mean, firstly, have you seen Crypto Batman's NFT line?
I knew we would be talking about this. I have seen it. Seems like it's popping off, and good for him.
It's really popping off, and I'm happy for him too. It's good to see. You know, I think this would be like actually a good time to like even just kind of discuss the NFT landscape overall. I know CoffeeZilla released a video that was pretty harsh, I think, on NFTs. I think it was either
weird
today or yesterday. Go ahead.
The video was like, it was harsh, but at the same, it did have like a weird, because I don't know if you heard the part where he's like, I can't actually trash NFTs altogether because the guy who makes all of my graphics, like, makes his living, selling art. And that's kind of why the reason NFTs exist is so that artists can actually monetize their work instead of getting crushed by major companies and having to go to work for, like, basically make nothing. Like,
Right.
artists typically don't make anything in their lifetimes, and NFTs give them the opportunity to change that. Is the NFT landscape like a place ripe for money laundering? Yeah, sure. Well, crypto is in general like that. That can be done. It doesn't just have to be crypto. Like, anybody can launder money. Like, you don't have to like use Bitcoin to do it. But yeah, I mean, there are some valid concerns or whatnot that can be brought up about NFTs. But I think as a whole, NFTs are helping people, and I think Crypto Batman is a prime example of a guy who's like, not super well off and decided to make this little funny, stick figure art collection, and it did well, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm going to take the super chat, but I want to definitely I want to circle back to this topic because I think it is a lot of interesting stuff to get into here. Benny Hinney coming in. Thank you again, Benny, for the $10 super chat. Appreciate it. So you must know about Pulse Chain. New hard fork of Ethereum coming. How do you feel about Pulse Chain? It sounds very provocative. I feel like Pulse Chain maybe should get together with the Alonzo hard fork and make a video. Yeah, I don't know anything about Pulse Chain, honestly. Do you, Nick?
I might have heard of it like once. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. Let me see here.
Is it?
So let's see. It looks like I'm looking it up right now. I've heard of it, but I just don't know much about it. But it looks like the way its supply increases with the amount sacrificed. So Ethereum holders get 1 free pulse per Ethereum, and its value is deducted from their address after 30 days. Genesis, it kind of seems like almost like a tokenomics kind of situation, but with our ERC.
It's somehow connected to Hex.
Yeah, it's definitely like a subsidiary effort of Hex.
Do you know what the Hex people call themselves?
No.
This is great. So obviously we're like the Doge army, right?
Right.
The Hex people are called Hexicans.
I actually like that. That's pretty good. Not bad. Not too shabby. The Hexicans. That's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, I got no issue with that. I like the Hexicans. Dallas Doge coming to the $5 super chat. What's up, Steven Steeles? Have you heard of FarmCoin? They're really putting us in the hot seat with these. I have heard of FarmCoin, but what I know about FarmCoin is fairly limited, honestly. If you're asking me if it's a good investment, I'm just not sure. I think it's part of Harvest Finance. I think
it's one of those yield farming.
I'm looking.
Harvest Finance.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. So, okay, that makes sense. Well, it seems pretty practical for this kind of thing. I could see the appeal of this. It's got some solid, it has like a solid functioning. What do you say, Nick?
I have no idea. It's
Well, its main thing is it's another DeFi thing, and where you save gas by farming, with its ecosystem, basically. So I
agree with. I listen to crypto Cryptos Are Us and George, like every day. He does 2 shows every day, pretty much, except on Fridays. But he's not a big yield farming kind of dude, and I'm not really either. DeFi is like complicated enough, and when you add in all this like third layer stuff, I don't know. I'll be honest, I just don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and if it takes like pages and pages and pages of stuff to like explain it to me, like I'm sorry, I'm too dumb. Yeah, like crypto faucets and like I don't know. I'm good. Like I'll put my money in what I know.
But thank you for the super chat, Delos, and I will give it a further review when I get some time. But thank you, Delos. Alan Schneider coming with a $2 super chat. Shout out to everyone. Texas toast. There you go, and thank you for that, Alan Schneider. I'll circle back to this NFT thing because I think that we're in a really interesting sea shift culturally. Everything surrounding it right now. And I think that after watching that CoffeeZilla video, don't be wrong, I think he raised some very obviously fair and decent points. Like, can you believe that someone's paid over $1 million for a picture of an Ethereum rock? And then, some of this stuff is just so ludicrous, right? And these low pixelation kind of gritty kind of things, especially with CryptoPunks is, what did I read today? Here, hold on, it's in my notes actually. So CryptoPunks hit a 1 billion in total sales yesterday. It's just wild. That's just wild. So, the obvious criticisms would be this. Why the hell are people paying this much money for what essentially are JPEGs? Even though I don't think it's that simplistic, right? But I could see how people come to these conclusions. I think so. And then CoffeeZilla made the argument that we are in a huge bubble that's going to completely bottom out at any moment now. I do think we are in a huge bubble. I guess where I would differ myself in opinion, or to the likes of someone like CoffeeZilla, is this: I don't think NFTs are going anywhere. I don't think this is a fly-by-night trend. Now, I do think we are definitely in a bubble, so y'all have to be careful out there. But at the same time, I think things are going to settle down, but it's still going to be a vibrant part of the crypto scene. I don't think it's going anywhere. Furthermore, like you said, I've seen this really impact a lot of working class people in really positive ways. I've seen people make life-changing amounts of money over the past 6 weeks or so. And it's just really inspiring to see. Why would you be against that? And furthermore, we're seeing kind of a whole resurgence in the appreciation and fascination of art. And so we're also seeing, and something that CoffeeZilla didn't really discuss, is there's a pretty good amount of people that purchase NFTs that are fellow artists buying pieces off other artists. So if people want to help fellow artists make some money, I mean, artists, the term starving artist has been around forever for a reason. It's a very tough path to take. It's a very kind of a rewardless life, even if you're very talented many times. But NFTs has people completely enthralled and fascinated again with art. My only thing is I would like to see it branch out a bit more. Nothing against the kind of trading card animation character styles. I do like what's going on there. Kind of reminds me of the early Gorillaz album art or something. But I would like to see it branch out a bit more to include in terms of the popularity of different mediums in art. I'd love to see some more impressionist stuff really take off, this sort of thing. But I think that will come in due time. But what's happened with Crypto Batman, I think, is inspiring and really cool. Something that he was able to make happen for himself over a short period of time. It also kind of reminds me, now that I think about it, it's kind of a parallel, Nick, where I could, you take a look on the face value of Crypto Batman's artwork. It seems very rudimentary. It's like kind of painted stick figures with some accent clothing or not, and like it's very simplistic stuff, but at the same time, it's like the attitude and the vibe that goes with it and the person that it's coming from is what gives it value, right? In the same sense that when punk rock music first came around in the 70s, most notably in the late 70s, to the Ramones or the Sex Pistols or what have you, all these prog rock guys were kind of looked down on punk rock, really snooty, said, well, these aren't complex Rush riffs. Well, it really didn't matter because they're simple chords and they work together very symbiotically to create something that was still really unique because of its attitude. And I see a direct parallel between that and what's going on in sectors of the NFT scene. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think, there's a lot. Clearly, like NFTs are not new. NFTs have been around for a while.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
We might be in the if we're comparing NFTs to punk rock, we might be in the Ramones era right now. But I think that obviously, clearly, like we're in a crypto in general is in a moment of hype. Everything is really hyped up right now. You could say that the whole crypto atmosphere is in a bubble. But specifically, yeah, I mean, I think NFTs are in, I would, how they have the, not the fear and greed index, but positivity rating on Bitcoin. I think
yes.
is like 80-something% at the moment or whatever. I'd love to see what that rating is on NFTs because I'm sure it's even higher. I'm sure, like,
oh yeah,
it's got to be in the like 90-something% at the moment. But yeah, I mean, clearly, I think NFTs they're here to stay. They're not going anywhere. It's not a function that's going to be taken away. But yeah, in general, the idea is that NFTs help artists create art and sell art more easily. And I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. And if somebody wants to spend $4 million on a rock or whatever, who cares?
Right, right.
Who cares?
It doesn't. Yeah, who's it hurting?
I can guarantee you, there's some sheik in the Middle East that's spending $4 million on a stupid supercar like I like to buy. So.
Right.
Who are we to say what is valuable and what's not? They want to spend the money. Somebody else has a rock. Make it happen. So.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Don't think anything about it.
I find it rather inspiring in much of the way that crypto can be too, in terms of just large groups of people kind of coalescing together to dictate and decide values on things that are just essentially newer concepts, right? And what it achieves both an appreciation for artists and more of a popularization of art. People many times with modest means end up making some good money off it. It's really kind of a win-win. My only concern is, of course, if once this bubble is over. Now, I don't think this, like I said, to clarify, I don't think when the bubble is over that everything's going to come crashing down drastically in NFTs and that there's going to be, specials 7-8 years in the future that are going to be laughing at NFTs as being this, dated and foolish thing. I really don't see that being the case. I do think NFTs are here to stay, but I don't think we're going to always see kind of the super bullish price points that we're seeing in the market. But I think it is. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a mainstay that we're evolving into here, and just another way for people to collect, appreciate art, and make money. Overall, I really see more upsides than down. What are your thoughts, Nick?
Yeah, I think long term, I think there's more upsides for sure. Yeah, I think that You know, as long as they're. It's hard to say. I don't think there should be. They're just like we talk about. Token or whatever regulation from time to time. Maybe that a little bit of that has to be injected into the NFT space. But
Sure.
I don't see like I said, I don't see NFTs going anywhere. And if they give artists and the average guy the opportunity to make a buck, I don't see anything wrong with it.
No, I think it's rather empowering, and I find it all fascinating. Just kind of observing all of this, and the thing that they need to start doing, though, there needs to be a new company that comes out that makes the whole process of purchasing NFTs much more of a simpler, seamless process. So right now it's a pretty difficult process for the average person to even purchase an NFT, let alone flipping one, right? But yeah, the process of purchasing NFTs is it's not an easy one for the average person, and that's something that's going to need to be streamlined a bit more going forward.
I think that'll come. I think that'll come in time. I think that's right around the corner.
I would really hope so. Anyway,
I think you'll see OpenSea probably lead that charge too.
I would love to see it because I've noticed a lot of people that are interested and they're fascinated by the market, but they're intimidated by it. They're like, well, I don't know if I got to transfer this Ethereum here, and then by the time I transfer it over a few times, I'm concerned that I'm going to lose it. It's not going to show up here, and then these gas fees are astronomical, and then I have to keep an eye on the gas fees chart to know when a good time is to.
Well, that's why
it's just
why,
like, man.
That's why some of these other projects, ADA being one of them, was
to
revolutionize that whole thing.
I think Ethereum 2.0 really, it really needs to happen. It's so long overdue. And then also another thought I had is, how come there's not NFTs that you can purchase with Dogecoin? Is there a project that's on that? Does anyone know? If not, if there is a group of people that are already on this, I'd love to speak to them. I'd love to have them on this show. I just haven't seen any evidence of it so far. And if there isn't a big effort underway to make this a reality, contact me. I would love to be involved in making this happen. I would love to get together with some minds that are brighter than mine in terms of the technicalities of this. But go ahead.
There was the push for some of the devs to create Doge smart contracts, but also the Doge Ethereum bridge was, that would essentially allow you to wrap your Doge to Ethereum and then be able to use that as NFT. So you could do. I mean, as soon as that is a thing. By the way, everybody out there running Dogecoin Core, if you haven't updated your wallet, please update your wallet. We need it. I did it on day one.
Nice.
So I updated all my wallets up to the new spec. So if you're running Dogecoin Core or you don't have the new wallet update, please do that. We're about to get a reduced transaction. By the way, I don't think people know this. Does anyone know what the transfer fee is from Dogecoin Core? Anybody? Does anybody know? I know. You know how much it is, Steven?
How much?
1 Doge.
Yeah. It's nothing.
It's nothing. And it's soon to be less than that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's supposedly the new transfer fee will be 100 times less than that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So talk about
unbelievable.
Cheap transfer.
I know that's people it's amazing to me how still few people are aware of the incredible advantages and strengths that Dogecoin offers. Particularly the more we go forward here, it becomes painfully obvious just how uniquely suited Dogecoin is to solve many of these issues that are emerging now, right? And it's just becoming so obvious. It's just a matter of time before the other shoe drops, and the normies all realize this and get on board. So the Doge Ethereum bridge would likely be the solution to essentially what would be Doge purchasing of NFTs.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to go through ETH, that would be the way to do it.
Yeah, I think it's a really talking about this stuff kind of reminds me. I think it's a really good time to get Ross Nickel back on the show. It's been a while, and would love to hear his take on all these kinds of things and get some updates from him. I think it's been long enough where I think it'd be one heck of a show. So I'm going to reach out to Ross and get him back on. I'd love to kind of pick his brain about all these kinds of things we're talking about. Someone says Doge is dumping. No, it's not dumping. It's not dumping.
The whole market is right now.
That's the thing. I mean, it is going down, but it's not doing anything unique to what the rest of the market is doing right now. If you look at most of the rest of the market over the last 2 hours, it's down. I mean, it's down. What can you say? But it's certainly not unique to Doge. I mean, for example, Bitcoin's gone down almost 2% over the last hour, you guys. Bitcoin's down 2% over the last hour. 2%. But I'm saying for Bitcoin with a market cap of over almost $910 billion, for that to be down 2% over the last hour, that's very, very significant. So the fact that Doge is, down 3% with a market cap so much significantly less, far less than half of Bitcoin's market cap, is absolutely just in step with what everything else is doing. Yeah, I don't think it's anything to be concerned about at all. It's all Risky's popping in the chat. Good to see you, Risky. He says, Risky says, Doge to the moon. Yes, indeed. It's not a matter of if, not a matter of if, just a matter of when. Speaking of which, Nick, I titled the thumbnail and the theme of this show, "Don't Doubt Your Doge." The reason why I titled it that, because I just thought it'd be a good opportunity for us to have just a little quick talk here about why people shouldn't doubt their Doge. With this trading sideways, things can seem kind of unremarkable. Are we ever going to get into the 30s, let alone beyond that? These are kind of times where some people's patience kind of wanes. They start second guessing their investments and things of this nature. And I don't think there's anyone better equipped with a unique set of experiences than you to maybe state the case for why you're not doubting the Doge and why you haven't doubted the Doge. Would you care to extrapolate on that?
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, actually, because I'm spending money, I'm buying supercars and doing stuff that I never thought I'd be able to do in my life, but at the same time, I still carry, millions and millions and millions of Dogecoin, which at any moment, if I wanted to, I could just be like, give me money, and it would be there. But I haven't. So, the question is, like, why? And for so long, I was holding, crypto without ever being aware of what the market was really doing. And honestly, that Warren Buffett quote where he's like, the only thing about, the markets is like it's moving money from the patient, or from the inpatient to the patient. Mm-hmm. That's really what it is. I remember when I was in college, I was playing poker at the time, as you do in college. It was very popular back then. It was like when the World Series of poker was like the thing to do. And I was okay. I was decent. But I played this guy from Japan. We played in this game together in person. And I'll never forget this because it was like the most money game I'd ever played for at the time. I think it was like $1,000 or something. And I was better than this guy.
Yeah.
Like, I was better at poker than him. But what he was better at was just wearing me down. This game went till like 3 or 4, or it might have even been 5 in the morning. I think the sun was starting to come up. And I had every advantage. I knew every hand. I was being dealt good cards. Like, I was on a roll. I was beating this guy like most of the night. But as the night wore on, I just got worn down over time. And I just started to make dumb decisions, and I just wanted it to be over. I just wanted to go to bed, essentially. That was it. And it was a perfect analogy for the crypto markets, because when things are trading sideways or slightly down, or they're just not doing anything, it presents a really good opportunity for you to go, well, I could just get out now, and it's kind of sideways, and like, whatever, I'll just, either do whatever and cash out. This is what the big wigs want. This is what the hedge funds want. They want you to get worn down.
Absolutely.
And I am in a really fortunate spot in my life where that's no longer, I don't care. I'll go to bed. Like, it doesn't matter to me. I can wake up tomorrow and be fine no matter what. But don't let the big money push around, even if you're a small cap holder. Don't let the big money push around the retail investor. You are in control of what your investments do and how they move, and it's all based on your mindset. And your mindset has to be rock solid to be able to, decipher what these movements, ups and downs, and all that stuff. Now, if you're a trader, that's a completely different story. If you're day trading, swing trading, whatever, it takes a completely different mindset to be able to work through that. But if you're someone who's just gotten into crypto, you just got in this year, you're brand new to it, DCA, I think, Cryptos Are Us, George talks about this all the time, DCA, collect as much as you can at the most advantageous periods to do it, and just let that puppy cook. Let it cook. Like, if you see if things take a dip and there's a better time, that's why you got to have funds set aside for stuff like that. But I think just for the average person trying to move, I've said this, I know we've talked about this a million times, trying to move in and out and time things and do all that. Like, if you're brand new to crypto, you're going to have no idea how to do that. I'm just starting myself to learn how to do that, and I'm doing it with a lot more money than most people do. So, like, I take big risks and gamble huge, but just remember, if you're listening out there and you're one of the little guys, like, don't let the big money push you around. Just make your investments as confidently and as strategically as possible, and just do what you feel is right. And just don't let the big money push you around.
Yeah, I think that's really well stated. I definitely want to extrapolate on that a little bit. Josh Randell disavows, come with a generous $20 super chat. Thank you, Josh. Always appreciate you, man. Love you, Steele Army. Well, we love you back, man. And thank you for your continued support. And it's always good having you in the mix, my friend. It's All Risky says, so many reasons not to doubt your Doge. Doge has been doubted many times and never fails to prove the doubters wrong. I totally agree, and we have a strong track record to back those claims up. Well said, It's All Risky. And someone else said in the chat, hello from I'm not pronouncing that right, Seville. Hello from Guadalajara. And
Guadalajara.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you from there. It's great to have you here. And welcome. We got some new names in here. And if you're new here, you're watching Steven Steele Live. I'm Steven Steele. This is my co-host, Nick Ballz. And we live stream pretty regularly. So feel free to join our community and hit that subscribe button. Hit all on that notification bell. We just keep kind of steadily growing this growing this community and this channel every day. What's up, Mary G? I saw that you're in the chat too. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, I think that's really well stated, Nick, because what's interesting is every time we go through one of these big dips, some really big institutional money is buying those dips. A lot of hedge funders and folks on the inside. Why do you think they're putting that kind of money into something that, or do you think they're going to be making those kind of sizable investments on the dips on things that are fruitless ventures? Or could it be that perhaps a lot of the FUD is propagated by the very people that want to take advantage of those dips? Which do you think is the higher probability? I think we know the answer. I think we know the answer here. So if those folks are, spending the kind of money that they are during these dips, I mean, what does that tell you? That tells you that cryptocurrency is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. They know it as well as we do, that it's an incredibly high probability that most of the coins that we discuss in the show really are going to exponentially increase in value over a period of time. So yeah, that's just how I see it. I don't know. At any rate, did you have anything to add on to this one, Nick?
No, I just I know you talked about this already last night. I kind of brought it up earlier, but I just want to hark back to the statements that were made by the CEO of Three Arrows Capital.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is not a dumb dude, by the way, guys. Like, this guy, he runs a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund. This is not some guy on the street or even us. Like, he's not a dude on YouTube. This is like a multi-billionaire. He kind of put it perfectly, and he said, like, this guy is going, for those who don't know, this guy is going super long and heavy on Doge, like multi-hundred million heavy on Dogecoin. Yeah. And he said it perfectly when he was like, this is a crypto that, like, everybody, any normal person can understand it. It doesn't take somebody with bachelor's in engineering or like computer engineering, or it doesn't take any special, like, you don't have to, there's no like technical, there's no like crazy tokenomics to decipher, there's no percentage burn, or like there's no weird stuff. It's just very user friendly, very simple, and everybody from the girl who posts selfies to the guy who drinks beer, everybody can get into it. And that's precisely why he's going so heavy into Dogecoin. Just keep that in mind. All the people in the chat, Steven, myself, everybody that we see on Twitter, we're all just normal people. There's really very little difference between most of us. I mean, there are some very big names, Elon, a few others, Mark Cuban, people in the community that are like, yeah, they are huge, big, gigantic figures and multi-billionaires themselves, but the average Doge holder is just the average person. And that's the crypto that you want to be in. The crypto where it's comprised of the majority and not the few. The crypto that's owned by the vast majority and can be understood and accepted and given a path to success by the majority and not the few. And I think that's what Dogecoin brings.
Yeah, I think you raise a really good, compelling point there, Nick. And I went over that in a bit more detail, that very point last night on the show, and that how profound I thought that, and astute that the CEO of what is it, Three Arrows again?
Yep.
Three Arrows made, I thought were really spot on. I mean, he was kind of repeating a lot of the things, honestly, almost verbatim, the things that we've been saying on this show here over the last 6 months, and in terms of essentially calling Dogecoin as a populist movement wrapped in digital currency, and something that has a lot of mass appeal and simplistic functionality and comprehension that appeals to a lot of people in the working class to just like what did he say? Like, girls that are caught up in their selfies that want to make extra money, things like this, to welders and mechanics and things like this. We have a really wide range of support in Dogecoin, and it's structured that way for a reason. I mean, here's a coin that's got an annual soft cap of 5 billion, and it's purposely tailored that way with the intent for it to become an everyday transacted currency for in the retail space for purchases both large and small, and it's only improving in speed. Its transaction speeds are much quicker than both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and most importantly, those gas fees are a fraction of them as well. I mean, gosh, almost everything we've talked about here on the show tonight, Nick, is begging for the Dogecoin solution when you think about it. And there's a reason why we come to the mat night after night after night being so bullish on Dogecoin. It's not just because we're like, don't get me wrong, I love the memes, I love the culture surrounding it and the lightheartedness surrounding it. But at the same time, like, we understand what we're doing. We understand why we're so particularly bullish on Dogecoin. It's a real pragmatic problem solver across the board. Your thoughts?
I would completely agree. I think that it is perfectly positioned to kind of add to the current landscape and probably grow into the future with a lot of these big cap projects. And you can't even really, I mean, Dogecoin is a big cap. It's in the top 10. It's made its name, and it's not, it's so funny too, because like, if you ask, there's a lot of people out there, top level crypto people, Crypto Face, Cryptos Are Us, George. I'm looking at him right now. He's in my recommended. These are like the Bitcoin maxi people that we talk about from time to time.
Right.
Not the ones that are on Twitter, but the well-known ones on YouTube. And even then, they're kind of the thought process there is kind of starting to turn. Like, I was watching George earlier today, and like somebody donated and said, "Well, do you think Dogecoin's going to $1?" And he's like, "Yeah, actually, I do." And he's like, "I don't think Dogecoin's going anywhere." And I heard Crypto Face talk about it the other day too. He's like, he calls everything other than Bitcoin is a poo coin to him. Everything other than maybe ETH, but it maybe. And he even thinks, he's like, I'm happy for the Dogecoin people. He's like, I'm really happy for him. So I think the general sentiment around us being a joke and all this kind of stuff, I think it's going to turn. And I think if when everything goes well and everything turns out right for over the next year, Dogecoin remains in the top 10. I think that is going to be a solidifying factor to say that, hey, we're here to stay, we're not going anywhere, we're not asking for much.
Right.
Just have fun, don't take us too seriously, and enjoy the ride.
Yeah. I love it, and brilliantly stated there. I think this was a great episode, and Nick, it's super great to have you back in the fold. My throat certainly appreciates it. So, thank you. It's great to have you back, and all the audience is stoked to have you back as well. So we're going to wind down this episode, guys. However, I'm going to be doing a short members only stream in about 15-20 minutes. So those of you who are members, look out for that. I'm going to post a link to that. If you don't, in the event you don't get your notifications, I'm going to post a link to the members only stream on Twitter and also in the Discord. So if you're currently not a member and you'd like to unlock the behind the scenes membership features, you can do so by clicking the link pinned at the top of the chat. Membership starts at only $4 a month, and in return you get lots of extra content and features. So Nick, this was awesome, man. And it's good to have you back. Josh Randell disavows giving us a nice outro, generous super chat of $20. Really appreciate that, Josh. Hugely appreciate it, man. He says, word on the street is Nick Ballz can deadlift 2 pallets of pre-mixed concrete. That's just what I heard. What do you say, Nick? 2 pallets of pre-mixed concrete?
Yes. I don't know if that's close to 700 pounds. Sure.
If there's any one man that we know in this scene that can do it, it would be Nick, you guys, for sure. Okay, Nick. Well, this was great, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow, guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, each and every one of you, super chatters and non-super chatters alike. Members, I will see you guys in about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, and if you'd like to become a member, you can do so by clicking the link pinned at the top of the chat. Thanks again, everyone. This is Steven Steele and Nick Ballz wishing you adieu. Over and out, guys.
You had that 3rd failure in a row. Did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
There are American heroes who don't like this idea. Neil Armstrong, Gene Cernan have both testified against commercial spaceflight in the way that you're developing it, and I wonder what you think of that.
I was very sad to see that because those guys are, those guys are heroes of mine, so it's really tough. I wish they would come and visit and see the hardware that we're doing here. And I think that would change their mind.
They inspired you to do this, didn't they?
Yes.
And to see them casting stones in your direction.
It's difficult. Probably not the guy that most people would bet on.
Who wins?
It's like a little kid fighting a bunch of sumo wrestlers. Usually the sumo wrestlers win. We're a little scrappy company. Every now and again, a little scrappy company wins. And I think this will be one of them.
everyone from the Doge community that's in here tonight, I want you to listen to me very carefully. Right at this moment, I want you to stop what you're doing. Even anything else you might be doing, we'll have in the stream. And I want you to look. I want you to look at that computer screen monitor or that TV screen in front of you with that thumbnail art and my voice coming through to you right now. And I want you to understand one big, simple, epic concept. We are going to win. We are going to win. We are going to win. We've got the Doge momentum. Can you dig it?
Maybe have some fun. I mean, it's like there's a good chance that crypto is the future currency of Earth. Right. And then it's like, well, which one is it going to be? Like, what would be the most ironic outcome? That the currency that was invented as a joke, in fact, becomes the real currency.
Right. Wow. No, absolutely. To the moon.
To the moon.
When you had that third failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up.